on some scissors.
Calories left over, you make a Moscow Mule, okay?
And then when you save all your money, you put it in the piggy bank. Aspartame, sucralose in my body. Put it in my body. It's aspartame.
Bro,
Diet Coke.
don't get that on film, dude. Please get that on film and start the video like that.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Six Pack Abs. I'm your host, Johnny Catanzano.
Coach Garrett.
And we're here to do another awesome whiteboard educational series for you boys and girls at home. Today's topic, Coach Garrett, what are we talking about today?
The OMAD Diet.
Now, for those of you that don't know, the OMAD Diet stands for 1 meal a day, okay? So first, let's start off this video with letting you guys know at home, this is something we as coaches typically don't recommend.
Absolutely not. Not sustainable.
In our opinions, the cons far outweigh the pros, but we know you're gonna do it anyways. We know you've been on Google. We know you've probably talked to Tammy, your cousin, or Bobby Joe, your uncle. They might have lost, 10, 20 pounds, and they said, oh, I just started eating once a day, and that was it. Okay, well, they got results. They were eating once a day, great, that's good for them. But when they did it, it probably wasn't that enjoyable. There's a chance they've gained the weight back. There's a chance they've lost a lot of muscle mass. There's a chance they've been very deficient in their vitamins and minerals and fiber. There's a whole can of worms they might have opened up with that.
The list goes on.
The list goes on. So what we're gonna do today is first discuss the pros and cons of the 1 meal a day diet, how it maybe is beneficial for some, because it can be beneficial for some.
Yes.
And how it can also kind of go against actually the grand scheme of what you're trying to do, and that's be healthier and live longer and lose the body fat.
And we're talking the marathon of life, guys. We're not looking for the sprint. We're not looking for short-term fixes. That's all great. Like Johnny said, that's a yo-yo diet. That's the weight. We're talking weight loss. That normally comes back. It's not sustainable.
So first thing we're gonna do is cover what some people would say are maybe the pros of the 1 meal a day diet. Now, the first and the foremost is that yes, it involves very little effort or thinking. So what that means is, okay, well, I've been eating 4 or 5 times a day now. So Coach G, well, I'm just gonna eat once a day. I'm just gonna have lunch now. So very quickly, without having to calculate calories or calculate macros or plan out a meal plan or that, you've reduced yourself to eating once a day. So by doing that, it very quickly puts you in a calorie deficit. And a calorie deficit is required no matter what, whether you're fasting or doing keto or doing this or whatever, you have to have the calorie deficit, meaning your body is burning more calories per day than you're consuming. So if you cut your meals down from you're eating 4 or 5 times a day down to once a day, just like that, you've probably forced your body into a calorie deficit very quickly.
So therefore, you will get weight loss if that is something that you're trying to obtain.
Correct. Second pro is that it is easier, and this is only for some, that it's easier to consistently stay in that calorie deficit. Like we talked about, you have to, at the end of the day, have a negative energy balance, burning more calories than you're consuming, if you want to physically lose actual body weight or body fat. So for some, when they do this every day, it is easier, especially for those who don't want to plan their meals or maybe say they don't have time or whatever. If you're only eating once a day, it can be easier to stay in a calorie deficit consistently, day in and day out. And that's what's required if you want to lose weight over a time frame. You need to have a calorie deficit every day, not just 2 or 3 days a week, and then your other days you're eating in a surplus, because then at the end of the week, you'll just be back where you started. So third pro is that it can achieve fast, like Garrett said, weight loss results.
Kind of on the fence with this one, right?
Very on the fence. So sure, you cut your eating down to once a day. Within a matter of a couple days, more than likely you're gonna drop some weight.
Right.
But the weight you're seeing coming off the scale isn't gonna be just body fat. It's also gonna be water weight, and it also will be lean body mass. Whether you like it or not, when the body loses fat, you also do lose lean body mass, and that's actual
That's your basal metabolic rate, guys. We actually want that to work for you, not against you.
Correct. So yeah, you might be losing weight, but you're losing lean body mass and you're taking a hit to your metabolism. So yeah, it's a pro, but really it could be in this column too. And then last but not least, it is kind of an easier plan to follow for somebody that's very busy or maybe somebody's traveling. Maybe you're going out of the country for a week or two and you know you're gonna eat not good food. Well, I'm only gonna eat once a day. Or those that are on the go. So those are some pros of the 1 meal a day diet where, yeah, it can be in your favor. But like we talked about on the other side of the spectrum, Coach Garrett, what are some of the cons?
And the list is awesome, right? Because it just shows it's really not sustainable long term. It can increase hunger, cravings, and binging, right? If you go all day without eating, you know, and you're not used to something like this, you know, you've heard the story, I'm so hungry I can eat a horse, you know, and then next thing you know, you knock a whole pizza out, or you knock some huge fast meal loaded with saturated trans fats and huge high in calories, and then you're like, uh-oh, probably shouldn't have ate 2,000 calories in one sitting.
Then you just negated what you were trying to achieve, because by eating one meal a day, you're forcing the body in a calorie deficit. But if in that one meal, you eat too many calories, so let's say your body's burning 2,000 calories a day, and you only eat once a day, but in once a day you're eating 2,500 calories a day, guess what? You're still gonna gain weight eating once a day.
Yeah, another is to increase the risk of losing lean body mass, right? We talked about your basal metabolic rate. We talked about we need that to work for us. Your metabolism is your friend. We want to utilize that key hormone, so therefore we can optimize fat loss. That is sustainable. That is long-term, guys. That is what we're looking for. We're looking for the marathon, not the sprint.
Correct. And you know, what's the other thing, Coach G, that 99% of the clients, when they come to us and we ask them, well, what are you trying to do? You trying to lose some fat? You trying to build some muscle? 99% of the people say, well, I want to lose fat, but I also want to build some muscle, which can be done. Absolutely.
100%.
You can build muscle and lose fat at the same time. That being said, if you're looking to build quality muscle, restricting yourself to eating once a day is really going to restrict your body's ability to build quality muscle. Those hours of the day where you're not eating specifically protein, your protein synthesis is gonna take a hit and your recovery is gonna take a hit. So if you're working out during these times, it's a negative thing.
Another key one, and this is a big one, which, let's just be honest, 80-90% of the general public is recommended daily allowance is vitamin and nutrient deficient. So you got vitamins, minerals, fiber, huge deficiency because you can't get it all in that one meal. So therefore, something has got to go, and unfortunately it just so happens to be stuff that we need every day that's vital for everyday activity, use, function, cognitively, neurologically, everything, right?
So if you're planning your meal out very well thought out, well pre-planned, and you know you're covering these areas, sure, then you're okay. But I know that the majority of you probably aren't, and you're just like, well, I'm just gonna eat once a day, and it's gonna be more of a reactive eating. You're gonna go to work and you're gonna be like, all right, now it's my time to eat. Then you're just gonna either order something or go to the restaurant, and you are never ever gonna fill your body's need of vitamins, minerals, and fiber in one meal at a restaurant, guaranteed. It's just nearly impossible.
Right, you know. Another key one, and people probably don't even drink enough water as it is daily, is dehydration. You know, carbohydrates, complex carbs, fruits, vegetables retain water. They will pull water into the muscle. You need water for everyday activity. 75% of the human body is water. 85% of your brain is water. Why would you deprive yourself of water? And then therefore you're going to notice mental fatigue will go down, and so will physical activity. So it's kind of, that's a quick fix, is we need that food in us to retain water weight to give us those functions for daily
So
activity.
Coach G, what you're saying is basically, yeah, you might be able to cut your calories a little more by eating one meal a day, but you're gonna be so tired, you're then gonna be like, nah, man, I'm too tired to work out. So then you don't work out that day, and then you reduce your output, your calorie output. So then realistically, you kind of ended back at step number one, and you're not in an energy deficit anymore.
And it touches up to decreased energy, right? Because if you're tired, you're obviously not going to perform at work very well, and therefore this is something you need to pay the bills. So this is something you need to be sharp and keen on. So it just doesn't really make sense to deprive yourself of something we need everyday use, which is water.
Yeah, that mental fatigue would really start to set in. The brain is powered by glucose, and glucose only. All you keto people out there, you've got to understand that. No matter how much fat you have in keto and as many ketone supplements you have, your body doesn't care. Your body's gonna go through metabolic processes in it to convert proteins and fats into glucose for your brain, no matter what. So depriving your body of glucose throughout the day, that's that powerful brain, the most powerful thing in our body. To deprive it is just, in my opinion, is just not the greatest idea. And then, like Coach G said earlier, we were actually talking about this one earlier. How are you gonna go out and have fun with your friends if you don't eat?
Are you gonna be the person who literally goes to every party, birthday, event, and doesn't eat food?
Nah, guys, I already ate once today. I can't eat again.
I want to meet you. I want to meet you because there's no way you can do that forever. No way.
It's not sustainable.
Can't go to dinner, can't go to birthdays, can't go to events because you already ate.
Yeah. So guys, and we cut the list down. The list is actually a lot longer on the con side, but we just wanted you guys to understand, because we know you're gonna do it anyways. If you're gonna do it, let's do it right. So now, Coach G, let's coach them a little bit. Again, we don't recommend you do 1 meal a day, but if you're gonna do it, try to take into these things consideration. So we got a little list down here, how to do 1 meal a day. It's the first, plan your meal. Be proactive, don't be a reactive meat eater.
Exactly.
A reactive eater is somebody that walks out the door to go to work every day with nothing in their hands. What are you gonna do at lunchtime, homie? What are you just gonna Chili's every day? You gonna eat Chipotle every day? Because it's not that healthy, I'll tell you. Chipotle is really not. So be a proactive eater. Walk out with your lunch bag for that day, with your well planned out meal that you are gonna have once a day. And in that meal, you've gotta do what, Coach G? Ensure that
your macros, your micros, your fiber is all there. Guys, there's 168 hours in a week. We're asking for just 30 minutes to constantly, you don't even need that, you really need 5 minutes of just prepping a good, healthy, quality meal for every day.
And making sure that you're filling all of this, because if you're deficient in your micros or your fiber, you will find yourself at hour number 10 of your fast being extremely hungry, extremely irritable, dehydrated. All these ingredients, the micros, the fiber and the macros, that's what really does help to balance your hormones. So you have to make sure that those are sufficient. Protein especially. I know a lot of us aren't eating enough protein.
Right.
So you've got to first make sure you're getting the vitamins and minerals and fiber, but also enough protein for the average person at a minimum 0.6 grams per pound of body weight. That's a minimum. For the average guy trying to build some muscle, you're at about a 0.8 to a gram per pound of body weight. And that you could actually go higher than that. All the scientific data supports that. Now that tends to be in more of an athletic, more of a trained individual.
Right.
But newer untrained lifters, minimum 0.6 to 0.8 grams per pound of body weight. And then you're gonna, whatever you backfill on fats and carbs, that means, okay, you've planned, I'm gonna have 250 grams of protein per day. Your backfill, how much of carbs and fats you have to fill out your calories, is kind of user preference, at least based on the science and what shows for losing body fat. Now, here's the catch. You don't want to have just fats, because then you're going to be awfully irritable. You're not going to have energy by cutting out those carbs. And then by also cutting out carbs, then you're cutting out your fiber. Okay? So you do want to make sure that you have a nice well balance of carbs and fats. Now, you can have lower carbs for sure and higher fats, but I wouldn't recommend completely cutting out carbs. Carbs are not what causes weight gain, okay? Overall overconsumption of protein, fat, and carbs and alcohol is what causes weight gain.
And if you're gonna be on some form of let's say you're not working out, then you may be able to get away with lower complex carbohydrates. But if you're gonna even think about trying to add in physical activity, any kind of strength training, whatever, and you decide to keep going consistently low to no carbs, you're gonna crash. You're going straight down. It won't be sustainable.
And that's the biggest takeaway from this, is that this is just not sustainable. So who would we recommend? Well, we wouldn't recommend this to anybody, but who would we say, okay, if you wanna try it, yeah, we can try it, let's do it the right way. Probably to somebody that has a significant amount of weight to lose.
Yeah.
Somebody that's brand new, maybe hasn't tried any sort of dieting or doesn't really know what's good, or maybe somebody that is very, very busy and just doesn't have time to do a lot of meal planning or meal prepping. That, and then only then, is the type of person or subject that we would allow somebody to do that.
Right.
And the other two things you guys gotta do is make sure you're drinking enough water throughout the day. It's really, really important. And take breaks. Just because you're eating this style of eating doesn't mean you should be doing this every single day. Most of us don't work on the weekends. So the people that are on the go and very busy and traveling, you're usually home on the weekends. Eat a more relaxed schedule. Give your metabolism a little bit of a break. Don't do it every day. Because what will happen what is guaranteed to happen, Coach Garrett, if you follow this forever?
It's gonna wreck, it's gonna
Yeah.
crash. It won't even work for you again, like we said. And we said, like, if you're gonna do it, you can do it for that short term. If you need to lose a lot of weight and you're having a hard time moving and your joints are bad, this could be good for you to initially get a little bit of weight off. But then it's time to reevaluate. Then it's time to incorporate a healthy balanced meal so you can get that strong bone structure, obviously increase that lean body mass, and then
Correct.
manipulate that metabolism.
If you're wanting to
the right way.
increase that lean body mass, you do need to be consuming protein more than once a day. I will tell you that. So hopefully what Coach Garrett and I shared with you was helpful. Again, we're not here to knock anybody that's gonna do a 1 meal a day diet. We understand you're gonna do it. We just wanna make sure you're armed with the correct information to do it right and not hurt yourself and not hurt your metabolism over the course of time. So hopefully you learned a little bit here. If you have any questions, make sure and comment below. Hit that bell, turn your notifications on. That way you're notified anytime Coach G or myself put out some new content for you. If you wanna call us, give us a call, email into us, ask for Coach G or Coach Johnny. You literally can talk with us. If you have more questions, feel free to reach out. You can also comment your questions below. Share this video if you like what you saw. I'm sure some of your friends maybe have done some 1 meal a day eating. This type of information will be very helpful for them. All right, guys, make sure and tune in next time for our next whiteboard educational series where Coach G and myself will school you guys on some awesome fitness and nutrition-based information. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'm Coach Johnny.
And I'm Coach Garrett.
We'll see you next time.
Boom.